As the contamination of the germs of a particular disease can influence a weaker person, similarly, the influence of material nature or illusory energy can act on the weaker or conditioned soul, but not on the liberated soul. Self-realization is the position of the liberated state. One understands his constitutional position by knowledge and vairagya, renunciation. Without knowledge, one cannot have realization. The realization that one is the infinitesimal part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit makes him unattached to material, conditional life. That is the beginning of devotional service. Unless one is liberated from material contamination, one cannot engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. In this verse, therefore, it is stated, Jnana Vairagya Yuktena. When one is in full knowledge of one's constitutional position and is in the renounced order of life, detached from material attraction, then by pure devotional service, Bhakti Yuktena, he can engage himself as a loving servant of the Lord. Paripashyati means that he can see everything in its right perspective. Then the influence of material nature becomes almost nil. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. When one is self-realized, he becomes happy and free from the influence of material nature. And at that time, he is freed from lamentation and hankering. The Lord states that position as Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param, the real state of beginning devotional service. Similarly, it is confirmed in the Narada Pancharatra that when the senses are purified, they can then be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. One who is attached to material contamination cannot be a devotee. So here, in this chapter, the glories of pure devotional service, we are seeing how Mother Devahuti, son of Lord Kapila, is receiving instructions about devotional service from his son, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Kapila. And last few verses, we have been seeing the different instructions that Lord Kapila has been giving to Mother Devahuti. So Mother Devahuti, although the mother, in that sense the superior position than the son, has actually become the disciple of her own son, who is the Supreme Master. So in this verse, Lord Kapila's instruction to his mother is this. In that position of self-realization, in that position, which is that position he is describing in the previous verse, in that position where one is seeing himself as a pure spirit soul. So in that position, that means I am a spirit soul and everyone is a spirit soul, in that position of self-realization, and that is what is called self-realization, realize the self. Right now our realization of the self is that I don't realize that I am the soul, and we take ourselves to be this body, this mind or something like that. But the self-realization means this self is the spirit soul, Atma. So in that position, and how does one attain that position of self-realization? Here it is mentioned, by practice of knowledge and renunciation. So by practice of knowledge and renunciation, we attain that platform of self-realization that I am spirit soul. And it's not just any knowledge or renunciation. It is knowledge and renunciation in devotional service. Bhakti Yuktena. Bhakti Yuktena means in bhakti, equipped with bhakti. So this is very important. Any knowledge and renunciation, if it is not equipped with bhakti yuktena, the jnana vairagya must be bhakti yuktena, must be equipped with bhakti. Only when in that position we understand our real position to be that of a spirit soul. And we will act on that platform. So that realization means not just getting knowledge. Even those who may not be equipped with bhakti and renunciation, they may also understand that yes, we are spirit soul. But the real understanding means, the realization means we will be acting on that platform. So that is bhakti yuktena. And then, what is the result of this self-realization that I am spirit soul? 3 results. There are many results, but in this verse, Lord Kapila is explaining to Mother Devoti 3 things result in when one is situated in that position of self-realization. The first thing is, one sees everything in the right perspective. The second is, he becomes indifferent to material existence. These are all wonderful results of self-realization. Number 1, he sees everything in right perspective. Number 2, he becomes indifferent to material existence. Very quickly material energy is very strong, very powerful, and we very quickly get influenced and we very quickly come under the sway of material existence. But a person who's self-realized, he's indifferent, he's least bothered about this material existence. And the third result is, material influence acts less powerfully upon him. The influence of the material energy itself will weaken. So these are the 3 things. Paripashyati means he sees everything. Paripashyati. Pashyati means seeing. He's seeing everything in the right perspective. Udasinam means he's indifferent to material existence. And prakritim cha hata ojasam. Prakritim means this material influence. Hata ojasam. Hata ojasam means it reduces in strength. It's like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that my devotees are under my Daivi Prakritim Ashritaha. They are under my Daivi Prakriti, under my spiritual energy. So the material energy cannot exercise its influence on a devotee who is equipped with knowledge and renunciation, and with Bhakti Yoga, he is practicing Krishna consciousness. Now in the purport, Prabhupada begins by saying, as the contamination of the germs of a particular disease can influence a weaker person, similarly, the influence of material nature or illusory energy can act on the weak or conditioned soul, but not on the liberated soul. So, the same thing, prakritim cha hata ojasam. Both the weak soul and the liberated soul are living in the same conditions, this material world. But the difference is that while the weak soul is influenced by the material energy, the conditioned soul is completely free from it, although living in this material world. That is the difference. And how the influence of material nature doesn't act. How the material nature, how it influences us, we all know. The influence of material nature or Maya, it comes in twofold influence it has. Prakshipatmika Shakti and Avaranatmika Shakti. Maya, first what it will do on the weak soul, Prakshipatmika Shakti. Or first is Avaranatmika Shakti. Avaranatmika Shakti means it will cover us with illusion. Illusion means it will make us think that you are very happy here. Actually, there is no happiness. But it will make us think that we are very happy. Just like Prabhupada gave that example of Indra. How once when Indra was cursed, Indra did some mistake and he was cursed. The curse was that he took the birth for one life, he had to take the birth of a hog. So he fell from Indraloka and he came to this material planet and he became a hog. And just like every animal, every species has their own family, so Indra also had his own family. His father, mother, hog, and all these different. So what happened in the absence of Indra? The affairs of the heavenly planet were not going on properly. There was disturbance. Obviously, the king is missing, so there is bound to be disturbance. So Brahma thought this is not a proper solution, this is not a proper thing. So he wanted to come down and tell Indra, okay, I am now pardoning you, or I will dispel this curse which has come upon you, and you come with me back to your heavenly kingdom. So when he came down to this material world, he found Indra, and then he spoke to Indra, my dear Indra, let's go back. You get rid of this hog body. At that time, Indra's response was, no, how can I leave up this family? How can I give up my father? How can I give up my sister, my daughter? I have a duty towards them. So I cannot give. So imagine, Brahma is telling him, I am freeing you from this curse. And I am putting you back in your original position of Indra, the king of the heaven. And he's thinking, no, this is better. And that is not better. This is called illusion. This is how we are all under illusion, thinking that everything is very wonderful and we are enjoying. And then the second, Prakshepatmika Shakti. Suppose we get past this Avranatmika Shakti and somehow we have understood that yes, this is covering is an illusion and this is not the right thing and I must cross over it, and we try to run away from it, then the next energy will influence, that is Prakshepatmika Shakti. Prakshepatmika Shakti means how this energy influences, it will try to pull us down. Okay, you're trying to run, you've understood that you have to run. No, I will not let you run. I will pull you down. See, so Maya is very strong. And the example for this that Prabhupada gives is just like a person who is in the jail. He has understood this is not the right place for me to stay and he's trying to run away from the jail. Then when he's trying to run away, all the guards will come, jail authorities will come and they will pull him back. No, you have to stay in the jail only. I'll not allow you to run away. So this is how Maya acts. But for a devotee, for a liberated soul, it will not influence them. The example is given, Prabhupada is giving example, germ and a contagious disease. We see that sometimes, when there's a contagious disease, some people easily catch the disease because they're very weak. But some people who are very strong, even though that disease is a contagious disease, it is spread all over, he will not get it because he's very strong. So he's living in the same environment, but he's not affected. And in this material world, actually, every place is, the whole material world is like that. So, now right now we are also actually, we are not liberated. We are also having this contamination. Right? We are also materially inflicted. We are also having this material disease. But Prabhupada and the scriptures have given us a vaccination. Using this vaccination, if we use this, then even though we are living in this world of material contamination, this vaccination will protect us from all kinds of diseases. From lust, anger, greed, kama, lobha, anything, it can protect us. And we know that vaccination is nothing but chanting the holy names of the Lord. So even if we are not in even if we are contaminated, living in this material world full of contamination, if we strongly take the shelter of chanting the holy names of the Lord, then we can also remain free from the influence of all material energy. So here, further in the purport, and as it is mentioned in the translation, it is said that one has to understand one's constitutional position by knowledge and renunciation. This is the main point in this whole verse, and Prabhupada is elaborating this in the purport. Now, what is our constitutional position? We all know our constitutional position is to be part and parcel of Krishna. Not to be, we are a part and parcel of Krishna. And just like the parts are supposed to be serving the whole, and the parts are supposed to be attached to the whole, in the same way, we, being part and parcel of Krishna, we must be attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only then we have some value. Just like a screw. If a screw has fallen off the machinery, will the screw have any value? It is valueless. But the moment the screw is attached to the machinery, the screw has so much of value, right? So if we also want to understand or estimate what our value is, in the material world people think themselves to be very valuable based on, so many different material qualification and criteria. But the real criteria to understand what our real value is, how much I am attached to the whole, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If I am not really attached to the Supreme Lord, then my value is nothing. Just like the screw, if it is not attached to the machinery, its value is nothing. So this is our constitutional position, that I have to be attached to the Supreme Lord. And if you are not attached to the Supreme Lord, we look for attachment somewhere else, because mind cannot be free without attachment. It's the nature of the mind to seek pleasure. So, and if you are attached to something else, then we are not in our constitutional position. And then if you are not in our constitutional position, we will not be happy. So the only way to be happy is to be in our constitutional position, and that is to be attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is what we have to understand. So this is our constitutional position. He is the Lord, we are the master. He is the Lord, we are the servant, and we can be happy only by serving Him. Now this understanding that I have to be attached, my constitutional position is a part of the Lord, a small part. We are just amshas of the Supreme Lord. This understanding comes with jnana vairagya, with knowledge and detachment, or renunciation. The exact word you Prabhupada translates, so both things are there, but in this word he translates vairagya as renunciation. So let's understand these two things, knowledge and renunciation. Once one devotee, he's not really a devotee, he was an outsider who was having a conversation with Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was explaining him the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So this devotee asked Prabhupada one question. Prabhupada, you say we have to use our free will, but then it is also said that we are all contaminated. The influence of material energy is very strong on us. So when there is so much of, we are living in this Kali Yuga, when we are all deep in Maya, we are also contaminated. In this state of contamination, how can we use our free will properly to select the right thing? We'll be bound to select the wrong thing. It's a very interesting question, right? If you are contaminated and if you are under illusion, how will you select the right thing by your free will? Your free will will also take you in the wrong direction. So then Prabhupada says, we all know the answer. Prabhupada says, yes, although you may be contaminated, although you're contaminated, there is one thing that is not, you're living in a contaminated world, in a contaminated atmosphere, but there's one thing that is not contaminated. What is that? And that is what will help you. It is knowledge, spiritual knowledge. So if you take knowledge which is uncontaminated from an uncontaminated source, then although you are contaminated, you're living in the contaminated world, you can use your free will to accept this real knowledge, and that will free you from contamination. So you don't have to worry that we are living in a world full of contamination, world of contamination. Pure knowledge is available. Pure devotee is available. His pure knowledge is available. And Prabhupada gave that simple example. Like for example, a girl. She's a small child. She doesn't know anything. But if she hears 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, and if she simply repeats 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, then another person, if he hears that, he's getting real good knowledge. Although it's from a child, but it's from a contaminated source, pure, perfect knowledge. So in the same way, knowledge is available to us. And we have to just accept that knowledge, humbly and submissively. So, right now, we are in this mode of passion and ignorance. And real knowledge means what? Rising to the platform of goodness. And further, beyond. But first, real knowledge can come only when we are in the platform of goodness. We chant those verses every day. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Goodness comes from nityam bhagavata sevaya. Soon after this verse, The next verse says, Tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobhada yaschaye. When you do nityam bhagavata sevya, you are talking of how to get knowledge. When you do nityam bhagavata sevya, then the result is tada rajas tamo bhava. The rajas and tamo gun, they will disappear. Rajas tamo bhava cheta eter anavidham, and cheta eter, our heart will be cleansed, and sthitam sattve prasidati. We will be established in the mode of goodness, on the platform of goodness. So real knowledge means first get rid of this influence of passion and ignorance and rise to the platform of goodness. And that can be done if we have real knowledge. There's a very interesting conversation. Prabhupada is explaining what is this platform of goodness? What is this mode of goodness? Is mode of goodness some very important and intricate and philosophical knowledge? Yes, mode of goodness means knowledge, but in this conversation, Prabhupada is giving a very, very simple explanation of what is mode of goodness. So there's a conversation going on, and Prabhupada is talking about something that why people commit suicide. So many people commit suicide. That's what was happening in the West during that time. The hippies, being unhappy and they were committing suicide. So Harikesh, he's trying to counter this. So he says, well, only some people commit suicide. Not everyone commits suicide. As far as I am concerned, I am very happy. I have my car, my air conditioner, etc. Prabhupada cuts him. That means you are fool number one. That means you are fool number one. Again he repeats. As soon as you say, I am happy, it is immediately proved that you are fool number one. Then another devotee, Pushta Krishna. But everyone is afraid of death. They don't like the idea of dying. Put it off. Prabhupada. So Harikesh, so it is not possible, he's saying that if everyone is happy, if you are thinking you're happy, you're fool number one. So Harikesh, so it is not possible that anyone is happy? There is no possibility of anyone being happy? Prabhupada, no. One who thinks he is happy, he is number one fool. Pushta Krishna, everyone is searching after material happiness. Prabhupada, yes, but there is no happiness. Harikesh, what about if one is in the mode of goodness? Maybe one or two in the mode of goodness. Prabhupada, mode of goodness? If he thinks he is happy, then he is a fool. He goes on repeating this. The mode of goodness means one must know that we cannot be happy here. That is mode of goodness. And if he thinks, I am happy, then he is not in the mode of goodness. He is in darkness. So devotee. So at present, everyone is trying to be happy by this activity or that activity. Prabhupada, they are fools. Devotee, if everyone accepts that there is no happiness at all to be found in this world, if everyone accepts this, that there is no happiness to be found in this world, Prabhupada, then they are intelligent. So then devotee asks, then what to do? So Prabhupada says, therefore you go to a guru, go to Krishna. Devotee. So you are saying, Prabhupada, that if there is no happiness and one recognizes it, then he goes to Guru? Prabhupada, yes, he must. Just like Arjuna submitted to Krishna because he was disturbed. So that is the point. Where one must approach a Guru, how to find happiness in a Guru, that is intelligence. Athato Brahma Jignasa. Inquire about real happiness. So devotee. So one who is looking for material happiness, he's trying to conclude, but Prabhupada again cuts him and he says, he is a fool. Prabhupada, he is a fool. And now he explains why. Where there is happiness not possible, that means the material world, happiness is not possible, he is trying to find out happiness. Therefore he is a fool. Which is not possible. If one tries for it, then he is a fool. Harikesh. Now he says, but I look around and I see everybody else enjoying. As Prabhupada says, there is no happiness, but I see around and look around, everyone else is enjoying. Prabhupada, because you are a fool, you are seeing like that. That is a proof that you are a fool. Harikesh. And they all tell me they are having a great time. His friends and all, outsiders. Now Prabhupada says, Krishna says, Dukkhalayam Ashasvatam, and you are finding out happiness? Then how much fool you are. That best authority Krishna is saying, this is a place of suffering, and you are finding out happiness, so how much fool you are, it is very difficult to estimate. And everybody is laughing. Therefore, Vedic knowledge is perfect. Now he gives another nice example to explain this further point of how Krishna is saying Dukkhalayam and you're saying there is happiness, so you're a fool because Krishna is certifying as Dukkhalaya. And the example he gives is, now just like there is a signboard, no admission. So if there is a signboard, there is no admission, and if somebody tries to enter there, it will create trouble. Therefore he is a fool. So Krishna says there is no happiness in this material world, and if somebody is searching happiness, is he not a fool? Therefore Krishna consciousness required that he gets perfect knowledge from Krishna. He has no trouble. Krishna says there is no happiness, and if somebody thinks, all right, although Krishna says, let me try it, then that is not intelligent. He is a fool. And he ends here. So in this conversation, we are seeing how Prabhupada is saying that mode of goodness, we all started with the mode of goodness. Knowledge means to be in the mode of goodness. So he's defining mode of goodness in a very simple way. He says mode of goodness means understanding that there is no happiness in this material world. If you know just this much, that is mode of goodness. See what a simple, wonderful definition that Prabhupada gives. So here further it says, so by knowledge and by renunciation one can be established in his constitutional position. And in the Bhagavatam, now we all want to get knowledge and renunciation, right? Now it's not so easy to get knowledge and renunciation. Two very important, very heavy things, right? Knowledge and renunciation, difficult to get knowledge and difficult to renounce also. So in the Bhagavatam, how do we get knowledge and renunciation? And that verse we know, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janyati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yad Ahetukam. This is especially significant because this verse not only talks about Jnanam, Janyati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam, Vairagya, detachment, renunciation, and Jnana, knowledge, we will get by Vasudeve Bhagavati, simply by practicing devotional service to Vasudeva. Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha. If we apply, Prayojita means if you apply Bhakti Yoga to Bhakti Yoga Prayojita to whom? Vasudeva Bhagavati, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva. Then Vairagyam Jnanam comes, and how it comes? Janayati Ashu. Ashu means very soon it will come. Very quickly it will come. It will not come after a very, very long time. This is the power of devotional service, that very quickly we will be equipped with knowledge and renunciation simply by rendering devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And to render service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, devotional service has been made so easy in this age, simply by chanting the holy names of the Lord and using our abilities, our energy to serve the Lord to whatever possible extent we can develop all these things. So these are the few things mentioned in this purport. We'll end here. Srila Prabhupada ki, Rantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Gaur Premanande.